allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Okay, not too much on the agenda really tonight. We can go over status of things, but we have no guest speakers. No one could make it, so just us. Surprised it wasn't here. I assume he will pop in at some point. Anyway, the only public here is you, young man. Anything you want to add? No pressure. All right. Nick, by the way, I don't know if you met him, this is my son.
Nice to meet you.
Everyone else has. I don't know. I didn't.
I was just going to say, Bill did just pull up, so I'll let him in a couple of minutes.
I think I updated maybe this chart a little bit, but the rest of the charts actually haven't. Didn't do any updates. I don't think I received anything from anyone, so sorry if I missed it. Anyway, we did have the SCM meet with Matt back on the 27th. Did a briefing, answered any questions he had. I actually wasn't able to be there, but my understanding is basically any capital expenditure purchasing this year is a no-go. But if we're interested in understanding what different cost options would be like with the PSA and PPA. So, did get an estimate. Bill was able to work and get an estimate on the PSA PPA. As I understand it, that's coming out to be about 8 cents per kilowatt hour, which is higher than what we're currently paying. So, I don't know, Bill, you want to jump right in and say what you heard back from?
So yeah, I guess even at 8 cents a kilowatt hour, I think there could be still an argument made that it's a worthwhile investment by the township to reach their decarbonization goals by 2035, so we could make that argument. There's a social cost of dirty electricity. I forget what the government rates it at, but we're not paying for all pollution we're putting in the sky, so we can make a moral argument to council that they can make the extra investment. But also, Springfield Township is currently receiving their bids, and so the Shared Energy Manager said they looked to see what their PPA rate would be and see whether that's something we could leverage some of their installers, because our installer doesn't want to do a smallish. Anything less than the community center, he was a little bit, not real keen on, so.
We just got one rough estimate right now, so Springfield is in the RFP process, so they'll get some more options.
Hopefully.
The SEM can inform us.
That would be hopeful.
And Springfield was 450 kilowatts. We were combined at 550, so actually maybe. From the SEM, I'm getting the impression that small difference doesn't matter that much, but it should be advantageous to be a little bigger.
I think what our solar installer reacted to was that the other than the community center, our others are fairly what they would consider small. So we've got 4, 40 to 60 kW systems, because we've got this solar canopy for the police vehicles. We've got 2 other small ones. So anyway, that was what they were kind of reacting to, because the more separate properties they have to put up, it's more costly to them. If they could do one big roof, it's cheaper.
Can you remind me what's the significance of the PPA?
What is it? I mean,
Like, you want that number to be high or low, or what?
well, you want the cost to be low always, right? But, no, I mean, the idea is that, I mean, it's a long-term contract. They're paying the upfront, so the township doesn't have to pay, but then they're guaranteeing
Oh, okay.
payments over, I think you wanted a
And that's the rate we'd have to
20-year
pay
contract or something.
for the electricity from our.
Yeah. I don't know if you factor in though escalation prices. I mean, we're at 7 cents. I mean, if 8 cents is fixed for 20 years, I mean,
Yeah, I think he,
doesn't sound bad still.
I don't know if I included it on the email, I apologize if I didn't, but his second reply to me was that he calculated it a 28-year life of the panels at a 1.5% electricity escalation rate. So from day one, when you start at 8 cents a kilowatt hour, and then just figure out that 1.5% increase every year would be a rough electricity rate increase over 28 years. So I don't know what that ends up being. We could calculate it, but
So the PPA would have a 1.5% in it as well.
escalator.
Oh, okay.
And that's how he calculated to make it make financial sense, because if you're showing the township that they will lock in a budget for electricity for 28 years, but otherwise they would be faced with this increasing, cost every 3 years they renew, and if electricity keeps going up at 1.5 a year, they're going to have these budget hits every 3 years that they renew. So we're guessing that the future of electricity will keep increasing in cost based on it now being done by natural gas, which is a high demand for LNG across the world, plus the data centers that they want to put in Pennsylvania. They're talking about doing that on natural gas. So there's going to be a high demand on natural gas with all these data centers, AI, and Bitcoin, and electrification of society. So as we put in more electric chargers for EVs, we're all going to put an increased demand on the grid that's going to keep electricity rates high.
So was the SCM, they were gonna look at anything? I forget, the one email exchange had something about, was it just a cash flow analysis, or what was that one? No, it shouldn't be cash flow.
Yeah, I guess right now we would rely on seeing whether Springfield's
Yeah, I know that.
estimates come in within range, and then make an argument to council that it's worth pursuing this. And, so I think that would be, yeah, I mean, we could email the SEM and ask them if there's any more analysis to be done, but I thought they
There
had,
was one email you had saying, I can't remember, asking them for something, and they said, yeah, that could be done, and I don't know if they were,
so
it
the
sounded like they were interested in it.
The SEM had replied to us asking if the solar installer had included RECs, or
Yes.
the value of
Mhm.
solar.
Selling them.
So by
Yeah.
the township owning the solar RECs, then we're 100% green. Right. But if the township gives up the RECs and the developer owns them, we're still technically dirty electricity, but, we are putting solar on the grid because it's being built in Pennsylvania. So that was the only question. The solar installer hasn't replied to that.
Is Springfield Township, are they doing a power purchase agreement?
So they asked, in their RFP, they asked for both. They asked for all the bidders to give them a cost, a direct ownership install and a PPA install. So we will gain the benefit that the shared energy managers are reviewing the bids.
When's that bid open?
It closed on the 11th, and the shared energy manager said we're in the process of reviewing all the bids. It'll probably take us 2 weeks, so we'll give you a better feel at the end of 2 weeks. So if any of those PPA proposals for Springfield come in within, what we think would be reasonable for the township to pay, then we could, interact with those bidders and see if that would be worth pursuing.
The 1.5 number sounds really low.
1.5% increase?
Yeah. I mean, inflation's like
So when
3
you,
to 4%.
and it's interesting when you think back to 6 years ago, their contract, so their current contract is 6 cents a kilowatt hour generation. Their prior contract 3 years before that was 4.5 cents a kilowatt hour. So when you look at
33%.
4.5 to 6, that could almost be considered a 45% or whatever that number
33.
is. 2 cent, a
1.5.
cent and a half, I should say,
4.5,
a cent and a
yeah.
half is what, third, 33% increase. So right there, they got hit with a 33% increase. And then if it goes from 6 to 7, what's 1 cent on 6 cents percentage? 15% maybe?
It would seem like if you assume that electricity rate will increase with inflation, what's the assumption for inflation?
The 1.5, as I understand, that's the PPA escalation, not the. I agree with what you're saying.
Well, I guess they're putting an escalator in there to kind of show the township that if they ended up paying electricity and it kept increasing 1.5 per year,
Yeah, that's
the
what
payback makes it worth doing the PPA at 8 cents a kilowatt hour.
PPA is fixed for the whole life of the whole thing. Is that right?
So,
Oh, you're saying, okay, that's what I was trying to ask before, because that's what I expected, but I thought you were saying.
We get 8 cents for the next 30 years.
yeah, 30 years, right? They lock in that guaranteed budget. You know, they could say for this amount of electricity that the township is receiving from their solar panels,
Right.
they know that's all they're ever going to pay for electricity. So that
The
would,
utility increases their price every year.
yeah. So it'd be worth
It's a
it.
good deal. I know it's more than we're paying now, but.
And
That's
1.5,
20
it's,
years.
it seems like the utility
Way over
will,
that.
yeah, will increase their prices by like 4%. Or, I don't know where they get that 1.5% number.
Well, we just
Seems
picked
super
we just picked
conservative.
an inflation rate to say let's be conservative, because when Matt was on Matt West was
Let's be realistic.
Matt West was on the call with the SEM a month ago, or we had a call with a group of us, and Matt West said he doesn't like to put inflation into his budgeting because there's no guarantee. You know, he'd rather be conservative. Well, I don't know which way is conservative, whether you want to allow for inflation to kind of, plan your budget. I don't know how much you guys are
And so
involved in
the
budgeting.
difference, right, I think the difference that we are showing, he wants to be conservative on that difference.
Yeah, which 1.5% would be
Yeah.
very conservative.
Very conservative, yeah.
I mean, like you could look at what has it been in the last 20 years.
So I just want to break in, like the last 6 to 8, it's been going up a lot, but there was like 10, 15 years before that, it was pretty flat. It went up and down, it went down at points, so it didn't really do too much, but the last
It's
6,
down,
8
it's doubtful
years
it'll go
went
up
down.
another 15 to 20% within, I mean, we just had a hit in June. I think all of us in residents got a hit of about 12%, didn't we? Does anybody remember seeing that from PJM? Because PJM got hit with a auction last summer that they didn't expect. All of a sudden, it was like the auction price was so high, it had never been that high, and they had to absorb all this. So then they push it on to the ratepayers. So I think all of us got a 12% increase around June sometime. So right there, 12% in a
years.
year,
Anyways,
Yeah, I want to keep moving forward, so we'll talk to the SEM some more, get some better estimates. I'm excited to hear what Springfield is getting. The other thing that we've seen from the SEM is the electric car chargers. I don't know, did Matt or I don't know, anybody mention that or really talk about that too much? I haven't had time to review. I sent it to the group. I didn't receive any comments.
Yeah, I missed that call, I was on vacation, but I know that it is part of their, their deliverables is they're gonna give us that information and even maybe help us apply for a grant for them. I remember that conversation, but I wasn't on that last call.
we didn't really get to talk about it much. I don't think we've really reviewed the feasibility study yet.
So, I mean, it's still on my thought list that I'll review it and any comments I have. I read several pages, I didn't really have anything. It's very basic, straightforward, so. But if anyone gets a chance to look at that, I sent it out a few weeks ago at least. Feel free to let me know.
Do you think to keep the momentum going, we could ask to go to the August workshop so we could at least have the SEM on the call to talk about solar and electric charging?
Maybe that could be kind of a general update, I don't know.
It can kind of be one, because I saw your email about the, you mentioned about having like a sponsor.
Yeah, we were talking about that for the block bike
Mhm.
paths and everything.
I know you mentioned more general, and one of the things that I kind of thought about, and I'm wondering if we wanted to do, also to kind of expand it to even other citizen boards. Because I know at the workshop, Matt West has started like allowing all the department heads to give updates. So maybe expanding either if somebody from EAB just wanted to come in to just give a monthly update, or just write up a report and the council liaisons could read it. I'd be happy to pass along that idea to the rest of council and see if we want to set that up, just to keep everybody in the loop as stuff is. And then when there's a big presentation that you want to actually have in front of workshop, obviously we'll still do that. But to have monthly updates, yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
I mean, I think something for you to read, or whoever the liaison to read, is
Yeah.
probably a good idea, and then we just continue it whenever we have something to present, if we can get on the schedule. Be good.
Well, I guess, the value of thinking that if the SEM gets through these bids by the end of July, so we got 2 weeks from what's today, the 15th. So we would hopefully have the SEM review by the end of July. So if we go into the workshop on the following Monday, we have a chance for the SEM to speak to council and say, here's what we found. And I think sometimes having a direct expert talk to council rather than going through us or going through a report is more valuable, because then it gives council a chance to ask direct questions of the SEM, and they're considered the experts.
So the SEM are reviewing the bids for Springfield?
Yeah.
They are, okay.
Right now, over the next 2 weeks, they said. And I think if there's time on the workshop, August workshop, let's ask for it.
I can send, if you want, I can send an email to Matt, right? So the SEM's still reviewing some
The
things.
bids will be reviewed hopefully by the end of July. We can actually email the SEM and say, hey, we'd like to go to the August Monday workshop. Is there a chance you could have a summary report available to discuss with council?
I can send an email to Matt, I can include you on it, and just ask him, like, tentatively, you'd like to have some time at the August workshop to bring in the SEM and review some findings, assuming the SEM is available.
Yeah, and we could make it short and sweet for each. You could say, here's our summary of what we've learned on solar, and the SEM also has this proposal for EV charging. Here's what we propose for EV charging. We want to put that on your plate because we know you're going into budget season here in the fall, and it's better if the department heads hear this directly than try to get on their budget schedule in October, November. So I just think that we get a little bit of leverage if we can get it
Earlier in the better.
here sooner.
Yeah, I'll let Matt know that hopefully if the SEM's is done reviewing the reports and is available for the August workshop,
We can email them.
that we would like to get organized on that. And if not, then we can always do the September, but preference is for August if we're able to work everything out.
Yeah. Reach out to the SEM and start.
Yeah, I can see if they're available. I mean, I assume they'll be done with the review.
A few weeks away, so.
Usually they give them 60 days to get back to
They
them.
did a pretty quick RFP because they didn't have this contractor policy, I guess, and they were able to go out and just put out the bid on their public website. So they didn't even go to Penn Bid, they just put it in general announcement.
It was on Penn because I looked at it.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I looked at it. I was actually going to go to the pre-bid meeting just to see who showed up, but I couldn't. But it was on Penn Bid.
Oh, okay, good.
All right, anything else, I'll push forward. Anything else on?
This is specifically in regards to solar and EV charging stations?
Yeah, I think we could give them a summary. And then maybe even with 5 minutes left, we could do the bike. We could say, hey, we'd like to see if there's anybody who wants to. We usually get 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, and that's assuming there's no other, I don't know what is.
Any other
Could be
presenters?
stuff that's already earmarked for August, I don't know.
And we are starting at 6 now. Well, workshops are always at 6, but regular meetings are also at 6 now too, at least for August.
I don't know if this is necessarily relevant, but I just thought I should share while we were speaking about the EV charging. I don't know if you guys have seen, but the county has put together mapping regarding EV chargers throughout the whole county. So it's a ArcGIS thing. Have you seen that?
No.
So you can search, and I just, for fun, looked around in Plymouth, and there's a whole bunch more than you would even think that are available to the public to charge, like at different business centers and stuff like that. So I can send you guys a link, but it's just what's available now. I mean, I know it'd be nice for the township to have at public facilities, but there's actually an awful lot around right now that I don't think people know about, and it's all been mapped.
Maybe something we could put on our Facebook.
I'll send a link.
I don't know if Frank is gonna make it. I haven't heard from him, but we'll skip the open space and others.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple updates about a few different things. The first one, we asked Colleen Fulicki with Back to Earth Compost to do a workshop this fall. I think we settled on a date, Wednesday, October 8th at 6:30. And that will be at the Harriet Wetherill Park classroom. There's audio video stuff in there, right? Like she can set up a PowerPoint.
I know there's internet there. I don't know if there's any kind of like HDMI. I don't think there is any HDMI stuff.
Okay. Is there a TV or anything?
No TV.
Okay.
I just have to, can you send me that date just so I'll check, just to make sure there's nothing else going on there, and we can reserve that room.
What was the date again?
Wednesday, October 8th at 6:30. All right, so I'll have to bring a...
There's no TV. Like I said, I know there's internet, but I don't think there's any like HDMI.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to bring a projector or a TV. I think I have a spare one like this.
Is it, what kind of wall? Is there a wall that they can be projected on, or do they need a screen?
No, there's a wall.
Yeah, so just with the projector, you should be able to project on the wall.
Yeah. Does anyone have a projector? I don't have a projector.
I think Len,
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it, but I know somebody from our township, like one of our friends, they have it.
I think Len has one. I think they used to have one over at the community center. Remember they used to put it up behind you guys?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. She offered to do it for a flat fee of $100 and make it free for residents to attend. Do we feel that that's a fair price for? I think it will be roughly a 2-hour workshop.
Is she going to get all the materials for it as well?
Yeah, I'm not sure what she'll give out.
Should have a projector.
Yeah, I don't. But yeah, she'll bring everything. She'll put together a PowerPoint, and I guess she'll have some handouts and.
Oh, no, I thought like the demo and the, like, you know, the bin. I
Yeah.
believe when she charges, that's what, like, you know, the attendees get the bins.
Oh yeah, she mentioned that in the past that there was an option to she said we can also add the GeoBin composter, which participants would take home, but that would add $40 per person.
Yeah, okay.
Could it just be here's the training for free and then option to purchases after? Or-
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. More of the learning and people could buy their own bin or do it just on the ground in their backyard or something like that.
So how many people do we expect to come?
Ideally, we'd get like
25?
15 to 20. Yeah, 15 to
25 would be $4 a person.
How many did she have at Whitpain, did she recall?
That's two people, that's a lot, but
I
if
don't
it's
remember.
25.
I don't know if she said how well the
Township.
class at Whitpain did.
Yeah.
But maybe she could bring a couple of those bins and people could purchase if they want at the end or something like that.
So, Andrew, send me all that stuff, because I'll give it to Joanne, and then maybe she could put it on some type of, on the program list.
Okay.
And maybe she could say, hey, but it's a $5 township resident fee or something like that. They do programs all the time where they charge, a few bucks here, a few.
Okay.
It's more for non-residents, it's less for residents, but, I can, because if it would become real popular, like that classroom's not much bigger than this room in here, so,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it would be, if 40 people showed up, that classroom's not big enough.
How many chairs do you think it has?
We could bring 100 chairs in there, but you're not gonna fit that many people.
No, I didn't know if you already had chairs over there that they use.
There's tables and chairs. They're running camps in there right now, and I want to say like they're 20 student camps. But
We could set a limit too if we need
Yeah.
like 25 or. I feel like if you charge something, that more people that sign up will actually show up. Whereas
Yeah,
if it's free, about half the people show up.
yeah, agree.
so 24 campers is max use in that room.
Okay.
Campers are
Yeah.
kids.
You can't,
Right, but then you got to figure there's instructors, so the capacity has to be a little bit larger, right?
Well, I'm saying if you'd have the instructor, but if you have 24 people signed up, that's
It's a good number.
max.
Okay.
With we're running down to 2 to 3 week announcements, so whether people are really gonna see it, know to come. We're just running into a point where we may not get a good turnout because we didn't get a large publicity.
But I think if Joanna advertises it through the classes,
That's true.
I think a lot of people would sign up.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask her, because I know they put everything on that, it's not a newsletter, but it's,
The course schedule.
yeah, and then people sign up, they see it on there, they sign up, so this probably wouldn't be able to get on there, but maybe she has another way to put it up.
Oh, you don't think it would for the fall?
I don't know.
3 months out, right?
Yeah, I don't know when they do it, but that's why, if you give me the
Get
information,
it on there.
give me the information and I'll ask her.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
Did I
when.
miss the date?
October 8th, not August.
Oh, I thought you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard
She can
August,
slip
sorry.
it in there.
All right, yeah, we'll get it.
I'm not doubting she can, but I
We'll
don't know.
get it
the
filled.
dates.
We'll get it filled. That'll be.
Should we set a limit for 20 people? Is that a good, plus whoever wants to join here? Is that a good amount, 25 or 20?
Well, I would say 24,
Okay.
and see, if you guys want to get in first. I guess you guys know about it ahead of everybody else.
Does she need any physical space for the participants to work with their hands, or is it just gonna be a lecture and they're just sitting there?
I mean, you can go out on, there's a patio out there, she can go out on that patio if she needed to. Do that, presentation or demonstration or something.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll ask her if there's any hands-on component. All right, so you'd rather charge residents or anyone $5 or something?
I mean, I was gonna leave it up, I mean, they do this every day, all day at the community center. I was just gonna tell her what the program was and then maybe get her feedback. Or-
Okay.
I mean, I think if you make it free, then you might get a lot.
People don't show up.
People might.
Or they don't show up, right, either way.
Sign up and they won't show up.
Right.
Because it's free.
Yeah, if you get
They're
them.
better to
When they pay, they make sure that they come.
Right. But I'll, like I said, I'll leave it up to her, because that's what they do over there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think that's it for that. Is there any update with the tree giveaway, Rick? With,
No, I think that, I mean, council was, I wasn't at the last meeting, but the meeting before, I mean, they were, seemed like they were into it.
okay,
I just don't know what, I explained to them about the money that's in escrow, and so council was for it.
okay.
I guess we just have to figure out, how we're gonna advertise it, where we're gonna
Yeah.
give the trees away, all that kind of stuff.
Did we get a submission in for that one grant? Yeah.
No.
Okay. But they'll still fund it anyway with the fee in lieu funds?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they agreed on like 50 trees, like that's how we wanna start
Yeah.
out, see how that goes, and,
So I put in an invoice at the nursery just to hold the trees. Let me bring that up real quick. Just so I roughly know. Let's see. All right, so the 50 trees, they're $40 per tree at that bulk discount rate, so that's $2,000 for the trees. The 2 fiberglass stakes for each tree is $2 a stake, so that's $100. Another $100. Delivery from the nursery is $110, and then the fencing is about $430. So it comes to about $2,650.
great, yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we'd have to figure out how we're gonna advertise it, where we're gonna give them away, what the date, do they have a date where those trees are available, or you get to?
No, we can tell them,
Okay.
and they'll deliver it the night before. How we do it in White Marsh is we have them delivered to the township building, and we just fence, put them all in the parking lot, just fence them all in for the night, and then the next morning we set them all up. Residents drive through, we load the tree in their car, and then they head out.
Okay.
Would we want to do it here in this?
I think here, just because the police are here, there's cameras out there, I mean, I think that would be the safest place to put them.
Okay, we can, should we come up with a date for this?
Yeah,
And I can, okay.
I'm assuming it'd be a Saturday?
Yeah, we could do that.
What's White Marsh's date?
I don't know for sure. I could try and find when they did it in previous years.
Are they doing it again this year, or is just?
Yeah. They're doing 200 trees again.
200. They have that many residents interested in trees?
Yeah, they go. I mean, most of them go. Sometimes there's leftovers and people pick up the spares, but should we try should we pick a date now, or should I email you and?
Yeah, email me some dates. I know, the only thing I know that they do out of here is that Brad Fox run. I think that's November. I just would want to get that date. We definitely wouldn't want that weekend because it's kind of like a madhouse here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And what's the latest you want these planted to be successful?
Really, until you can plant even into early December. It usually doesn't start freezing consistently until later December or January. So, but we could get these in much sooner than that. Ideally, like before the trees lose their leaves. So probably, I was thinking like sometime maybe October.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure pretty sure that Brad Fox runs in November, but I just would want to make sure we're not doing that same weekend.
Okay, so can we submit the order at the nursery so that, should I can,
So would they work off of a purchase order from me? Is that?
yeah,
If you send me just give me the invoice, I'll get a purchase order together and I'll send it to you.
okay. And then, I guess we'll have to do a similar thing with so the stakes also come from the nursery, but the fencing is gonna come from Lowe's or,
Yeah, we have a Home Depot account, so.
okay, yeah.
And then I guess, so when we proposed it to council, we told them that there was gonna be like a, some type of advertisement, there was gonna be like instructions on how to plant.
Yeah,
That we were gonna have the people, sign some kind of agreement that they were gonna maintain those streets. So will you take care of getting all that stuff together?
Yeah, we have all the informative, like how to plant this tree, how to maintain it, all of that's taken care of because we've done this in White Marsh. I will set up a sign-up form where residents can reserve a tree and we'll start sending it out. I expect it I would think it would fill up pretty quickly because it's, not a huge number, but I was thinking, putting it on the Facebook group, Talking Plymouth, or, putting flyers at the community center, that kind of stuff.
I mean, this would be another great thing for Joanna's fall schedule. Because that gets a lot of, people really view that.
Okay.
When she needs her, all that.
We just have to make sure we have the right, the date so they have all the information. But I don't know when the fall newsletter, it's not even a newsletter, I forget what they call it, but it's like the class
Schedule,
list, yeah.
program
I don't know
schedule.
when it goes out or.
Yeah.
Even at the very least, I think coordinating with Joanna and Parks and Rec in that sense, because they always have, like, every week at the council meeting, just what's Parks and Rec have planned.
Yeah, you guys can make an
It would be
announcement.
too hard to add, if there's events that we're planning, getting them added to that list as well.
You guys can make announcements at the public meeting. Yeah, let's figure out a date and then, even if there's a flyer, we could put flyers at the community center on at the front desk so people can see it. So I guess once we pick that date, we can figure out.
And do we know what the cutoff is for the fall newsletter?
I don't.
Because it might be worth writing an article about this to be in the fall newsletter also.
Yeah, I don't. Find out.
I'll see, yeah, I'll try to find out.
So, I mean, township newsletter?
Yeah,
That's it, those.
yeah, that's some,
Okay.
Andrew, if there's anything you need help with in that effort, let me know. I don't know, if there's some materials that you want me to help pull together and write, or
Yeah, maybe,
like the what are we calling it? The agreement or promise?
yeah, that would be good.
Do you want me to, like, take a stab at that?
Yeah, if you,
Okay, because you might not have that from White Marsh, huh?
right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to make it a little more strict than White Marsh.
So do you want the tone of it to be kind of fun, or like more just sort of straightforward and serious?
It's up to you. I mean, I think if this isn't too, if this isn't too much to ask, I think it would be good to require a photo of the tree in the ground.
That's what I was thinking.
Or just say that we're requiring, when they sign up, just say FYI, you have to take this pledge that you'll care for this tree and you'll plant it properly. You're not going to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Because that's what some folks in White Marsh do. But and you'll also upload a picture within a week of planting.
And do you want it planted before the end of the year?
Yeah.
Before the end of 2025?
before the
Yeah.
freeze, actually, right?
Okay.
Maybe part of the pledge could be planting it within 2 weeks of receiving. Of picking it up.
Before December 15th, 2025, something like that.
Yeah, ideally, I mean,
End of October before Thanksgiving.
they should get it in
November.
within a
3rd.
couple weeks, because I mean, sometimes people keep it in the pots and they dry out so quickly in the pots because they don't realize how much water they need. you know, and then they die or get stressed. So the sooner the better. I mean, if we could say maybe 2 weeks after, I think that's plenty of time.
Remind them to water the pot during that 2 weeks.
Yeah.
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 I'm just wondering if you want to set the date, like, kind of as, like, early October, like even the first Saturday, I don't know, the 4th.
For the date for the giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
The date for the giveaway?
Yeah, just to give them enough time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think October is a great time to plant.
Maybe you want to check your other.
Yeah, I'll check and we'll go.
And this, just whatever you guys pick, let me know and I'll get with Joanna.
Okay.
And is the pledge going to be a piece of paper that they sign when they pick up the tree, or is that going to be like through a form?
I was thinking it could be on the sign up when
Okay.
they reserve a tree. They'll have to check a box that says like, I have read and agreed to this pledge, or I by marking this box I pledged that I will follow this document or whatever,
Okay.
and we'll link to it.
And that will be like in a Google Doc or something?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'll just give you the verbiage and you
Yeah.
can mess with it.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I think that was it for that. The last thing I think we talked about briefly last time was starting like a native seed bank or just a seed bank at the community center or somewhere in the township. Like a lot of other townships have native seed banks, or just like you can drop off seeds that you collect or vegetables or native wildflowers. I mean, I brought those in last meeting, and some folks took them.
I got more of those where they came from.
Yeah, but we still have a lot left. I was wondering if there was a spot that would be good. I don't know if the community center is the right place for it, because if you're not a member, you can't really get past the front desk. So unless they had it, a lot of other townships have it at their library, but we don't have a library in Plymouth. But just an idea, we could try to start one.
Do you have to have a physical person there to do it, or can you just put it?
No, it's more like those little free libraries that you see.
Yeah, like the
Maybe-
books.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Harriet Weatherall to me seems like a good place, because it's
Where?
Harriet Weatherall, that's like our natural
Yeah.
part. If you don't if you don't have to have someone there to accept them or give them out, then.
Yeah, it's
So it would be like
Is it-
outdoors, you mean
You
accessible?
ever see those like little?
Okay, it would be like that.
Like, yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that what you're thinking, like one of the outdoor boxes?
Yeah, ideally it would be, I guess it would be an indoor space that's more protected from.
Protected from vandals.
What if it could be out?
Also, just wild animals wanting to eat the seeds.
Yeah, and the temperature swings, like
Yeah.
the seeds stay longer
want
preserved
them
if they're
getting-
like at this room temp consistently.
You
But
don't want them wet and stuff like that. Could you have it outside for the council meetings? Like it could be in the foyer there?
I don't see why we couldn't do two. We could do one here, one here, and at the community center, because they have that long hallway before the.
the only problem with these doors is they lock unless there's a meeting. Like you guys couldn't get in tonight like that. So
Oh, they do have that, like free books at the community center. In the
Oh, off
foyer
to
there.
the left, right?
So it could be.
Yeah, it could, maybe we
If
could.
nobody has to man it, I don't think there's anything wrong with it being
Yeah.
a little
that's another thing.
entryway
Accessible.
for the front desk.
I have to talk, because that's like, I did have to make space, because that's where, like, a lot of people drop off stuff for, like Kristen picks up a bunch of stuff there every week. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
clothing or food or both or what, but
Yeah,
they'd have to,
yeah.
they'd have to make a spot.
That would be the perfect place because it's already kind of an exchange place.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, it doesn't require too much space. I
What do
don't
you do,
think.
just lay it out on a table or something, or?
Yeah, I've seen usually like little drawers that just pull out. Like one drawer will say like native wildflowers, herbs, veggies, melons, whatever. You just pull it out, and there's tons. They don't take up too much space because they're tiny seeds.
Maybe
But yeah,
the organizers kind of wood drawers, we can like plastic ones or.
Yeah, I just have to see if there's room there, because I know they have bins for, I think it's food and clothing. I'm not sure exactly what.
A lot of their drives.
Yeah.
It would be a perfect like Eagle Scout project if someone could build something.
That's what I was
I don't know, do you
thinking.
know any scouts
Yeah.
looking for a project?
I'm sure.
They could
but-
build a seed bank like for the right size doors and everything.
Yeah.
And I guess you just trust people to put the right seeds in the right bin, and they're in good shape, and
Yeah.
that's how it works. It's just like,
Yeah, there's usually like instructions, like a short, if you're going to put seeds in here, make sure to label them with the common name and the scientific name. No invasive species, like a couple basic rules. But yeah, usually these things stay pretty well in good shape.
Does White Marsh have one, or do you have an example where they are currently?
Yeah, White Marsh has one at the William Jeans Library, and Upper Dublin has one at the Upper Dublin Library too. All right, that's good. Yeah. Okay. I think that was all the updates I had.
I guess I'd love to support these efforts because I feel like they're positive in nature, and the giveaway of seeds and trees. I guess I'm kind of less interested in the ordinance updates because I just feel like it's not going to be enforced, and it's better to do positive things rather than. I just feel like it's just a lost cause.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for mentioning that because I wanted to ask.
I guess I've kind of lost interest in
Nick
doing that.
and-
I don't know.
So, just briefly, a lot of other townships nearby that are redoing their tree preservation ordinances that are looking to try and encourage people to preserve trees on their property. Because most of the tree loss in our area is on private property, people cutting down trees and not replanting. But they're running into issues with these ordinances because they're hard to enforce or costly to enforce. And so Ellen and I were discussing if there was any way to give a potential like incentive instead of penalizing people for removing. Can we incentivize people for retaining these trees? Like, is it possible to give like a small tax credit or something like that if residents have a tree over a certain size, a native tree that is providing incredible ecological and environmental benefits? Can that offset like a tiny fraction of their sewer bill or their whatever?
That might be weird, but I know if like they're doing like a renovation project or they're wanting to put something on their property and it involves possibly taking a tree out, I'm sure there's always fees that they have to do if they want to go in front of the zoning hearing board or if there's building permits they need to get from Plymouth Township. There might be like a way we could agree to waive those fees, assuming like after that, once the project is complete.
The problem is, I mean, there's the whole.
And it either stays or it's
process,
replaced.
And people are supposed to follow these things. And then they do, and then they don't take care of the trees or whatever, and there's always asking for waivers and this and that. And people, I mean, I've seen in my neighborhood, people just move in and they basically clear cut their property and there's nothing to stop them from doing that because they're not doing a development project. And so it's just kind of like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that
It
just
doesn't even help. So to try to give an incentive, like you're doing a good thing, I would love that if there could, because the benefits are so huge from stormwater management, environmental, shading, urban heat island. Like there are real benefits.
yeah.
I mean, it would be kind of groundbreaking for the township to do that.
I forget who I was talking to, but there are two other municipalities in the southeast Pennsylvania area that have an incentive similar to this. So I'd have to
If you can get some information on those, just to give us a better idea of like, what those townships are doing and what incentives might actually be out there, be a lot easier
I
to
mean,
bring and present.
in the meantime, like,
I do like these ideas
the
of
tree giveaway, the seed giveaway, gosh, if there could even be heritage tree designations or somehow laud people for doing good things. But I've just kind of like, I don't know, the whole ordinance thing is just, I don't know. I think it's a waste of time.
Could, is it
I think
worth
that-
considering making, requiring a permit to remove a tree? And that you have to go before the tree and shade board to explain your removal?
That would be great. I haven't
Yeah.
come across that in this area.
Yeah.
You have to go to the zoning board to get expansion on your property for a garage or, you know, reduce the easement or whatever it is with your neighbor or put up I mean, there are certain things you already have to do for a property. So why couldn't it just be included with property
It
maintenance?
would be a huge cultural shift.
I think-
It's appropriate and needed, but
Part of the reason they have to go to the zoning hearing board is, correct me if I'm wrong, like stuff in the township code essentially would be violating like what's in there. So I would still think we would need to add something in regards to trees to make them have to go before a board. In the same way they would if they wanted a larger garage, which would be groundbreaking. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's something we can do presently. That's an option if you wanted to explore and get a system. I don't know how it would feel because I feel like it, in the same way as the ordinance, it sets up, like you said, like trying to find more ways to positively reinforce versus something like having to get a permit to remove a tree, but somebody could just go and they could just cut it down.
Yeah.
And what are we going to do once it's down? And the ordinance kind of sets up a more antagonistic nature with residents, whereas I think like the seed giveaway, the tree giveaway, and then if we can find a way to make an incentive work.
yeah, I mean, it's huge, especially with all the flooding and stuff now.
Yeah.
I mean, one massive tree on someone's property, the amount of water it can absorb to alleviate that flooding in the public storm sewer system is a real thing.
I think especially if we can get a lot of numbers and presentations on that, and then framing it as, instead of advocating for like a policy of people have to have trees or stuff like that, as here's an incentive for you if you have a tree. That also might be a good way to get the public excited and also get the public backing something like that. Like, whereas like an ordinance might be more likely to kind of set you at odds with the public. It reframes it to make it, like you said, more positive, get people on the same board. As unfortunately
You're
as it
saying
might feel.
the incentive would be a tax reduction.
I don't know what the other townships do. I think we would want to get an idea of like what they're doing,
Yeah.
and then
But you've actually
adjust from there.
some places that do this?
Yeah, if I'm remembering my conversation right, there are 2 places that offer, and I think it's a tax incentive, a
I
slight.
mean, that would be tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people
Because it's
would love that.
the problem with the permit
Afford
type,
it,
type thing is that kind of becomes hard to enforce again, and then some people will remove the tree without the permit, and then their neighbors call the township on them, and so it's, you know, but
It's antagonistic
Yeah.
in nature.
yeah, but it's tough because obviously the trees are a community benefit. They don't just benefit the property owner, but ultimately the property owner is the one who's
Taking care of it.
responsible, and they have ultimate like there's a house down the street on Johnson Road. Someone moved in. It was the most well forested parcel on the block. Clear cut the entire thing within 2 weeks, and it's 40-inch silver maples, and
My neighborhood.
it's like really disheartening. But
Well, can that be caught before, somebody has to go through zoning to get permit to do development on a property, a new property, don't they? So could we have caught that if we had gone to the zoning board with
You don't-
hearing?
But they can-
You don't have to go to zoning if you're within.
It's only if it's, you only go to the zoning hearing board if what you're doing is for something outside what it is currently zoned
Triggering.
for.
Because they had right of way,
Well, if
because
you
they
put-
own the property,
If
they
you're
can
putting a
clear.
garage in that's 24 by 32, that's what you're allowed, like, but if you want to put a 50 by, then you have to go to zoning. So if you're doing what you're permitted to do under the
Well,
ordinance.
if they
But
clear
there's-
cut it because they plan to develop the whole property, that should have gone through.
Yeah,
Somebody-
but people piecemeal
Not if-
this stuff, so they clear.
I mean,
cut
there
it
wouldn't
first,
have been
then
any
they
more
go
to
for the permit.
oppose the development.
You can't get around
Because
this.
they're allowed to do what, to a certain degree, what they want with their property. So if what they're planning to do on it is what's allowed under zoning, there's no appearance before the board, there's nothing, it is their property, they have the right to do that.
I've seen it right outside my backyard. First it's the clear cut, then it's the pool, then it's, I mean, they don't have to tell you what their future plans are. There's no way around this thing.
As long
Is
as
there any-
it's within what's in,
Is there any
There's
rule
no-
or ordinance against clear cutting it?
No,
No. So,
and that's never gonna happen. There's
So-
nothing.
That's what, yeah.
so the zoning board's not gonna do anything. It's not against the
Well,
rules.
can the EAB do something? Can the EAB do something?
They're not.
I think
For an incentive.
pursuing, and I think in general, it's a great philosophy of pursuing
Cutting down trees.
the
Yeah, nobody's
rewarding
gonna follow
of
that.
better behavior
It's a whole bunch of work
is
for you guys.
the punishment of
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
uninterested behavior.
Because the only townships that can really enforce the like permit ordinance type thing is if you hire a dedicated arborist just to
Handle that.
handle these permits and visit these trees and make sure everyone's complying. Otherwise, it's impossible to enforce.
Could
I
be a
think
good
that's-
education piece, though, for the fall newsletter, exactly the way you described it, Ellen, and talk about the benefits
Of having
of keeping trees,
I
the
don't
social
know.
benefits, I mean, just an
Yeah,
education
people don't
piece
listen to that
to
either.
go along with the giveaway.
I think to go along with the giveaway is important, yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll.
But I think if, to really see something, we'll probably need something transformative. And I think I'd be more likely to support pursuing if there's some sort of incentive. Because I think that would be a lot more effective than any sort of permit or any sort of ordinance that's gonna set up antagonism between property owners
Yeah.
and what our goals are.
I mean,
Because
ordinances aren't followed now.
I think
What's gonna change that? Nothing.
Okay, that, about 35 minutes here, I think you're good.
Thanks. Yeah. Sorry.
No, no,
it was a good discussion.
No, that was my fault.
I didn't,
When it's good like that.
the walking and bike paths, I mean, I don't know if anyone has any updates, actually didn't receive any updates from Frank, so I want to check on him. So this is just the notes from last meeting.
Well, Jolly Road just got restriped, so.
No.
When they say Director of Public Works, is that our Director of Public Works?
That literally just happened like a couple weeks ago. So I don't know about doing bike lanes now.
I think he was just talking about Chris.
Yeah, I think something like that, like just getting discussion rolling, getting the ball rolling on things like this would be good to have. Like I said, like monthly updates at, like just something like you want for me to deliver, like remarks at the council meeting, or like at our workshop meetings for when nobody's actually going to present, just to make sure things are getting followed up on, and then it'll also be like on the record, public meeting, in the minutes. Would be a good way to start. And then it also hopefully gets it in the public, because even though not a ton of the public will go and listen to meeting minutes, there's some wonderful sites that will go and summarize if they hear something juicy, and share it out too. So I think that could be a good way to
I
start.
think one request for the budget season would be, could we ask to be the first receiver to apply for the Pico Green Region grant next September? So we would ask in the 26 budget for $10,000 match by the township.
So you're going for that grant?
In fall 26. We're too late to get in the 25. Apparently, the $10,000 hasn't been approved, so we need to ask for council approval to let us.
So to go for the grant, you need
Fall of
whatever the match is already budgeted.
Yeah, budgeted in the 26 budget, so is that something you can ask for?
I would include that in. I'll send Matt West.
I already talked to Matt. You had asked about this year, and I said it wasn't budgeted. We could budget it next year, so I think it would be in my budget.
But I think when, so Frank put on here sponsor, I mean, he's looking for that person, for example, that take it through the budget process. I mean, it's not gonna be the EAB. I don't know, Rick, Nick, I mean, somebody or somebody else on council or whoever that really has this on their agenda to say, I'm putting this $10,000 or whatever it is in my submission or in whatever budgeting meetings it comes up, you're gonna.
If it's someone to push like it's on their budget, then I think that would be.
Yeah, like I said,
You.
I spoke to Matt, and he said that it
So
doesn't
if
mean,
you-
it doesn't mean it's gonna get approved.
But so you
Like-
you put your department budgets together by when? September? And then your meetings are October and November? Is that how roughly the process goes?
And generally, each department
The
has
the
time slot
EAB
before
could come
council.
sit in on the budget meeting and
Anybody can.
watch to see
They're open
if
to the
they
public.
approve it, and we could, is there any public comment allowed during those budget meetings?
I don't think there's public comment, but they're open to the public, the budget meetings.
But we
I think-
have
I think
influence.
the budget meetings are open to the public, and then after the budget meetings, the budget will go on a regular meeting agenda. And at the very least, on the regular meeting agenda, it is definitely open for public comment.
So if we wanted to lobby for that $10,000 to be approved in Rick's budget, what's the best way for us to make
I
our
mean,
voice heard?
I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibility if you wanted to, if the EAB was asking stuff to go into your budget when you present, if somebody also wants to come and take the floor and have them, who maybe has more of a breadth of knowledge on exactly what, like, the $10,000 is for, what it's effective for, and why it needs to be in the budget.
Is it a $20,000? Did you have a quote from him already? Is it $20,000?
So we know, well, so we're kind of working backwards. We know that the Pico Green Region grant is a 10,000 plus 10,000 match. We said to Bob Thomas, we said, if we can get you to this $20,000, would you be willing to work on the feasibility study for Plymouth Township? So he'll do whatever he can. We don't have a statement of work yet.
We have to submit
Well, we
that
want-
for the grant, like, we have to have that information.
Yeah, but that application would go in September 26th,
What I'm
right?
saying is that, do you know what that will $20,000 cover what?
So we're asking Bob Thomas to work within $20,000.
So he'll make his scope of
So
work.
we'll ask him to create a scope of work to say, what would you
$20,000.
prioritize on the township bike plan
If you know your budget's
to
only.
be the highest priority, meaning these are the critical elements you would recommend that we look at right away, or access, or, figure out what's the best path to take.
But that's just for the feasibility study, right? Or will
No, I'm
that
thinking
come-
that this is the next step. We already have a vision of the map for where trails should be on Plymouth property. So we would ask Bob Thomas to take us to the next step. What's the first property owner you need to ask for right away? What's the, first Pico, under the power lines, how do we get a license to be able to do it on the Pico Power Trail? So we would ask him to do all that legwork and figure out which roads should have paint lines and signage, and so it would be prioritized. We can't do it all, but what, for $20,000, what would you recommend we start with?
Okay.
Do the best we can, right? He's got the expertise. He would be able to look at our map and say, this is where I would prioritize your funding.
So he would give us the
Scope of work.
priority maps,
Scope of work.
but the $20,000 from the grant
Right.
10,000 from the grant, 10,000 from a council match,
Yep.
and then what?
For the 26 application. Now, we can also be a little bit more, what do you call it, asking for council. We could say, hey, there's grants opening up in March of 26. Can we get $30,000 to apply for this March grant? You know, there's a county
The 2040.
2040
Implementation grant.
implementation grant, so we could ask for $30,000 and we could apply for that. So should we be a little bit more?
If there is stuff, if there are grants that you would need money budgeted from council at all at any point in next year, I would put all of them on the list, because we can always say, we're not gonna do this one, we're not gonna do that one, but we are gonna do this one. Always ask for anything that you might need, ask for it in the budget, and then we can see where we might prioritize. And if you're asking for 4 or 5, you might be more likely to at least get 1 or 2, especially if they're initiatives that we're trying to push. So
That'd be
It's,
great.
I mean, for those Monco 2040 implementation grants, that would really need to be taken up by township staff. That would need to be, like Whitpain did. That's how they built that trail under the Pico. They took it on as a project, they got it designed, they got it engineered, they put up the match, they did it piece by piece. That's not something that we could do as the EAB. That would take the commitment of staff. That wouldn't be us asking for a match and all that. It has to be a ready-to-go project. So I just wanted to be clear about that, because I know about those since I work for the county.
Anything else, walking, biking? I didn't, I guess I didn't update the charts here, so I don't have any updates. If anyone in the last month added anything to the spreadsheet? I think I did see one other place that paper bags offered. Still, I still have not seen it. A sign that says when you enter.
I went to the Metroplex today and went into 5 or 6 stores and checked. And
600, I think.
all of the none of them were offering single-use plastic bags anymore, which is good. I went into Giant, Old Navy, Five Below, Marshalls, and I think that was it. And Giant actually had a sign in the window. It said, "This year, effective April 9th, Plymouth Township is banning single-use plastic bags. A 15-cent per bag fee will apply in stores." And they were offering paper bags. And even at the self-checkout, there were only paper bags, and you have to manually enter how many bags you used, and it adds it on to your total. So that was good. I didn't see any plastic bags, single use, in any of the other stores, but I didn't see any other signs either, which is fine. But yeah, I think most of them are offering paper bags, selling the reusable bags, and then some of them have those like cloth, plastic. I guess they're still plastic, but the cloth bags. But yeah, it looks like. I mean, that was only 4 or 5 stores, but it looks like most are complying.
The target, you have to show how many bags you need.
That's just as someone that I wasn't a part of that whole effort, and I know you guys spent a lot of time and effort on that, and I guess I would just congratulate you guys at your effort, because it's huge, the amount of plastic that's not going out there into the landfill because of this ordinance is pretty huge, just in this township. It's tremendous. So I don't know, you guys did a lot of work on that, I know. So I would just give
And
you
it seems
Mostly before my
congratulations.
time too.
What's surprising, it seems so easy that it turned on so quickly. You know, Target, Giant, all of them are used to this, so you think, why did it take us pushing them to do that?
Yeah. I haven't heard any complaints from residents either.
Thanks for going through the Metroplex there. I didn't look at any new posts in the last month.
I don't think so.
So we talked about the new map, or the map of the chargers.
Yeah, I just sent that to you guys, the link. It's a pretty neat little tool. I mean, if people knew about it, residents, I bet you they'd be running around charging their cars at night and stuff.
Yeah.
I think after last meeting, we were talking with Bill. Bill got new EV, so I was just telling him. A friend of mine who used to live in those apartments, Place One apartments, she never charged. Like, she had to go out and charge. She never paid anything. She always used that network.
Which charger did she use?
The one by I think the TD Bank, right? Like right next to it's. There are a couple of them actually. One across the mall, the McMeeting Mall.
The one by Bobscott's? The
Yeah,
one over there by
yeah.
Bobscott's?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch there.
There's one office complex there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opposite to Bosco's.
Yeah. So this map, you can look and find all the
Yes.
Good.
When we first started talking about the bike paths, there was a big report from, I don't know, it was from the county or whatever, that had maps of proposed bike lanes. Like current and proposed and,
You're thinking of the Plymouth Township.
Is that the township
Comprehensive
report?
plan?
yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that might be interesting to publicize. Like just some excerpt of it, like, oh, here's this map of current and proposed. Because I think people might look at that and really be interested in it and may whip up some enthusiasm
You want to
for it.
write an article for a fall newsletter?
Yeah, I could do that.
Post.
I think it'd be a great idea.
You know.
Actually, there was also the county bike plan from what, 2020
Like Mako?
Bike Maco or whatever? Does that receive much visibility, do you think? It wouldn't hurt to publicize that also.
It could be both. It could
in
be Bike
conjunction.
Mako and the
Is that
Plymouth Township.
distributed with
That was a county plan, so that's for a bigger vision of what would the county do for bike planning.
I can send you both the Plymouth
Yeah, I-
Township and the
yeah,
Bike Mako
I might not be
thing.
able to find the one that I was looking at before.
Which is your email? I know you're
It's Anderson,
Anderson.
Paul J.
Oh, okay, Anderson. Okay.
I had to get very detailed to get my unique email.
No, that's a good idea to just bring awareness that people might not even know.
Yeah.
Here's bike lanes that exist, here's what we'd like to do, and if more people know about it and can advocate for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there should be something like after reading, what can they do, right? Like a section on what
Yeah.
can they do
Yeah.
if they want to make this happen earlier, right? Like, yeah, I think we have to think of that.
Well, I think it would be advocate to council for
Right,
biking,
so-
active transportation, biking and walking. I mean, I know there's this whole transportation safety effort with the police department and all of that, and people are gonna, there's some kind of system that people are gonna say that they want speed
traffic-
bumps and
For
traffic calming.
there's a traffic calming policy
Yeah.
that we just went through. I know we're getting like a sidewalk working group back together to finally get some resolution on that issue of like when somebody's renovating their property and they're like tearing down their house and do they have to put in a sidewalk? That whole debate, we're working to get a final answer on that. Because that's been an issue for like the
What
past
do you
like 4 or
mean by
5 years.
final answer?
That's been like ongoing issue for the past like 5 or 6 years about
Aren't people just required to do a sidewalk?
weren't always enforced. So it wasn't always enforced.
Yeah, well.
It was so that was an example of something that was in the ordinance.
Yeah.
Wasn't
that's
enforced,
not
then decided to start enforcing, and then there was a lot of back and forth, so we wanted to get that started to try to get answer locked down on exactly what we want to do and get a more specific plan.
But here's the thing, with the traffic calming, there could be an aspect where there's advocacy for bike lanes and sidewalks, because that's all a part of traffic calming and safety. So not just things that deal with the cars on the street, but all users of the street.
One of the, when we had, I forget who it was, but they presented about different types of traffic calming measures
Yeah,
that we were.
engineer.
They had, yeah.
Yeah, I was here.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I remember him having. Like painted bike lanes on the road is one of the traffic calming measure.
But like, you're gonna have this form, and then if so many people on streets say they want it, so could they pick like bike lanes as one of the things? Oh, that's cool.
I don't see why they.
So
That
then
was what I was under the impression of. I think part of it is also they might request. Don't quote me on it, but I think part of it is they might request certain traffic calm measures. They might go in requesting speed bumps, and then the engineer would look and say like, A, whether speed bumps are feasible,
Yeah.
and make a recommendation on that, and then they might recommend that other possible. Speed bumps might not be feasible on your road, but bike lanes would be.
Yeah.
Like suggestions. I don't know exactly where we got on that. If it's just they're requesting a specific traffic calming measure, and the engineer is saying whether or not that's feasible, or if he's also going to offer suggestions on what is feasible for that area.
So is that all set up now? Like, is there a form and a process?
I don't know if the form's fully set up
Okay.
online yet, but I do know. Can't remember if we actually
'Cause Lean's
voted. I think we just voted on it. So I think we just enacted it on last week.
Oh, okay.
Or no, yesterday. Yesterday was our council meeting. Sorry, because it's the third Tuesday, but only the second Monday.
So maybe it's a little early for Paul to refer to that in his, no, okay.
So is a consultant preparing it, or is somebody in staff doing this?
For
that.
The process.
Or that process, who's gonna define that process?
great question. I know a lot of it was already lined out in terms of the policy. I just forget the actual
Who's
specifics.
gonna do it? Is there a chance that whoever is organizing that could come speak with the EAB next month, or at least some point, or we could have a meeting with them or a call just to make sure our understanding of it syncs with their understanding of it, and if we have any ideas that could help, we'd like to have our influence be part of that outcome.
I can send an email to Matt and ask him for some clarification.
Guidance, yeah.
So if we have, if we are asking for votes from the residents, or if you have a forum where, public can submit their comments or anything, I think that's what, should go with that. Like, okay, I read this, but then, what can I do, right? I think something like that.
I think you should have Nick's email. Right here, councilman.
We're gonna put your email at the end.
Reach out to Nick.
Maybe phone number. How long is the post supposed to be? What's the
For
Facebook.
like 200 words or 100 words?
I think
Minimum or max?
Both.
Either or.
I don't think there is a limit on Facebook.
Facebook doesn't have a limit. I think you're thinking of Twitter,
But,
which had a 200
but
character
like,
limit.
what do we want? Though?
I
200
think 200 to 300
words.
words is solid, because I feel like there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the shorter the better,
Yeah.
because people don't really love to read.
200 words.
Yeah, no more than 200 words.
That's
But-
like a page or less than a page.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up, we don't have to go into any detail, but I was thinking about for notices going out, if we wanted to have another public meeting, EAB meeting where we open it up to the wider audience like we did last year, I think in November timeframe. I know we had mentioned maybe twice this year, but kind of got lost on that. But November timeframe would work out good.
I have to say that these aren't open to the public. They're always open to the public.
All the
A
meetings
more
are-
interactive meeting.
Like, yeah,
A more interactive
outreach.
meeting.
Yeah, morning outreach.
The agenda will focus on the public interaction.
Yeah. I think we had a good setup last
Yeah.
year.
What can you do to attract more people? Would be the question I would have.
Well, first of all, I mean, I think some sort of notice in the
Yeah.
newsletter or something. I think we had it on Facebook.
Wrong if I'm wrong, but I feel like last year's was also very generalized in terms of like topics that were discussed. I think having like a little bit of specificity doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
need to be a single issue, but like 2 or 3 that we want to focus on would be more effective. So like if issue of trees,
Tree cutting.
bike
ordinance.
paths,
Get like
maybe not ordinance,
200
but-
people.
But even just like the tree giveaway, like those kinds of initiatives, or some sort of like native plant sort of initiatives as one topic, bike paths and trails is another topic, and I would assume the other one we've been talking about, solar, is the other one like to engage with, as opportunities for people to interact and educate.
And this is the last chance to promote the clean energy federal credit for residential solar. So residential solar, if you want it on your own property, you need to do it by the end of this year
If you want the
And-
credit.
to get the 30% off your
You can still
installation.
do it later.
You can still do it later, right? If you
It's
like
not going to
the
be against the law.
If you like the 30% discount. And then for all others, commercial, nonprofit, faith, municipal, by July 4th next year, the install has to start. So this is our opportunity to kind of get this message out and say, hey, guys, do you guys want any of this government money? And here's the time to do it. So we could still get an article in the fall newsletter to say, if you want solar, do it by the end of the year. EVs, this has to be done by the end of September. So if you want the $7,500 purchase credit or the $4,000 used EV credit, you need to do it by the end of September. So this is our last opportunity for all that free money, or extra money, discount money. And then just to highlight, September 21st, Bill McKibben is a big environmentalist who's been part of this group of the older generation retirees called Third Act. And we're realizing that the older population are the ones who have a little bit more experience, wherewithal, ability to influence. So this Third Act group is now trying to lead the charge on climate, trying to make sure we approach climate properly and get the message out in support of the younger generation, all the youth. But the youth don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the money to influence the connection. So Third Act is now trying to supplement the youth effort to get climate in front of everybody. So September 21st is going to be called Sun Space Day. It is a Sunday, but it's called Sun Space Day because 20th is the equinox. And so that weekend they're going to have all sorts of events, demonstrations, et cetera, to celebrate how we use the sun successfully to power the earth. And we can do that successfully. Wind, solar, and batteries can supply all our energy needs of the earth. So we want to really make September 21st a big day in education. So this can be anything and leading up to that. So these educational events could be in August, September, early September. It's not necessarily to put them all on that day, but it's leading up to that. So if we want to do any educational events to help our public understand the value of solar and transition to clean energy, it might be a reasonable activity for the EAB to consider, putting something together in early September. Cabling, could do a table. If somebody has an EV, if somebody has a solar panel and a portable battery, we could put a demonstration out in the parking lot and just say, here's how you can do clean energy, and look at this, it's non-polluting, it's healthy, and all it takes is a solar panel, a battery, and an EV, and you can start moving in the right direction to help society transform. So I think it'd be worthwhile thought if the EAB wants to do something.
It seems like that would be good if it was a part of an event that's already happening. I mean, something like the Township Day. I don't know if there are any days like that, though. Are there any Township event days coming up, or?
The Venice days, right? Like, we still have a couple more the events in the
Concerts in the movie.
yeah, the concert and movies. I think that can be a
It's at the
good
community center park.
spot where you have
You could have an EV set up in the parking lot, say anybody want to stop by and look at this EV and
yeah.
talk to the owner about, what they learned about using an EV.
That's
I think Joanna again is the right person.
Yeah, they're Wednesday nights. I don't know how many more they have, but I know
Yeah.
tomorrow night's one, but a couple
I know
of them
they have-
yeah.
2 concerts and 2 movies left. Because I think they usually try to do 2 a month.
Yeah, and I think a couple got rained out. I don't know if they got rescheduled or just canceled. But
I think they were just canceled.
Does anybody here have solar panels? Anybody here have a battery?
How big of a battery?
Well, they have those portable batteries, I guess, that if you can,
Tesla.
if you can run a 110 feet off of it, we could use the trickle charger and plug the charger into the EV. So I've got an EV, Lena has an EV. We can bring our EV out, use your battery to charge our EV, and then we just need somebody with a solar panel. We could charge up the battery, and we could say, hey, here's where we started. When we put this on the parking lot, the battery was at this level, it's been receiving all this sun, now it's up to this level, we're gonna show you how we charge the car from the battery, which is from the solar, so that kind of educational event would be simple, and it really helps, show the power of how easy this is to do this transformation of society. It just takes money and willpower.
I do have a battery, one of those portable batteries, and a solar panel we just got for our nonprofit that we use to power a pump to help water the trees in like hard to spots where there was no spigot or anything.
That's cool.
So we could try. Yeah, we could. We have the solar panel.
Throw an impromptu.
I feel like it'd be good to maybe test that out first. I
Make
feel
sure
like,
you don't have it blow up.
and also just generally like thinking about like whatever numbers actually pop up, what is impressive to us might not be impressive
To a layperson.
So just making sure that like whatever like that presentation would be would actually like yield something effective.
Probably better during the middle of the day than
Yeah.
concert time.
At the concert, but
Do you guys want me to ask or no?
about setting up an event on the community center.
They're Wednesday nights. I
Oh.
mean, if you want to do it at one of the concerts.
I see. We've only got a couple left, right?
I think there's 2 in July and 2 in August.
Start later on, so I don't know how much power you're
Would
gonna
you
get.
be up for trying it? We don't have to have the solar panel working completely. Even if it's a demonstration, you say, here's the solar panel. We charged up the battery from the solar panel during the day. Sorry you're here in the evening and you're not seeing the electricity come in, but
I
here's
think
here's how
we
we
can
charge.
have a quiz type of thing with some prizes. like, what do you think? How much, can it charge?
A little bit of
Yeah,
guessing
You
game.
don't
right?
have to,
People
you
can put
don't
in it.
have to do the actual demonstration, but you have this solar panel and you have this battery, like how much, what can it power?
Right, we can
Yeah,
educate
something like
people on the different
Yeah.
things.
And you guys had done those great posters for the township. Didn't you put together the posters? So those could be up too.
We could have a little table, like a little EAB table or whatever, with whatever this information. We could have the car, the battery, and the solar panel right there. Maybe only take up a corner of that parking lot, right, so we wouldn't impact the people going into the,
Well, I'll ask her tomorrow. I mean, obviously you're not gonna do it tomorrow, but maybe for the next one.
maybe for
Which
a future.
parking lot would you go to?
I don't know, like, I don't wanna
By the
get in the
softball
way
field Or
of,
down by the.
I mean, would we wanna put it up front? Because people are walking in from the community center
Yeah.
parking lot and the baseball,
up by the
baseball
softball.
parking lot.
Baseball.
I think up top. I mean, there's probably are some people that park down the bottom, but I would say most people park up top.
That's closer.
So see if Joanne would be okay with us being up near
The
the,
table right by the
Front.
entrance to the.
by the, the band shell or wherever she thinks.
All right, I don't know, anything else to share, Rick, about the township? No?
Nah, not really. I mean,
How poorly is the geothermal doing?
I don't use the thing. It's not doing poorly. It's actually doing well. It's I mean, we have some issues. Yeah, I mean, we have a few. Like I said, we're working through some things, but it's it's been doing well, especially during this heat and humidity.
Are you worried about, are you worried about how fast the electric meter is spinning?
No, because I mean,
Is it going a lot faster than it used to?
it's way easier to have the electric meter spin than have people call me complaining about how hot and humid it is. But no, it's hard to say. I've sent bills to the SEM. I haven't. So we had two separate services prior to the renovation. So there was a service out back for the public works. There was a service here for this building. I'd have to go back, add those two together, see what the new, because now everything's served from one service. So there's a breaker down the basement that serves out back. So I haven't had time to do any of that, to see the difference of, pre-renovation to now.
It's always been all electric. I mean,
Yeah, right, it's,
Does it use more
well, I
electricity?
mean, these have VFDs on the motors and stuff. It's a much more efficient, that stuff was an old cooling tower and so I know it's much more efficient. I just haven't taken the time to
Less
look.
electricity.
Do we know if PICO would allow us to license any of the, one of the power lines to put solar? Because that would be a great spot to have it in the open with very few obstructions.
I don't know that answer. I would say no, because they don't want any structures underneath there,
Yeah,
but,
if they
but I
have to
don't-
work on the lines.
I haven't seen that one.
yeah, I would say they would not. but-
Well, the other opportunity, I guess we talked about ground mount before, but about, is there any township areas where you have to mow that you don't want to mow anymore? We could do agrivoltaics, where you put the solar panels in a field and you have sheep that keep the grass from going too far. Plus, it's a great pollinator. The insects, the bees, everything, it's very friendly to, so do we have any areas where we could look at putting a ground mount?
And sheep.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Will Rick have to feed the sheep?
Out here, right?
I guess
They eat the grass.
yeah.
This hill down to the stream, right?
Yeah, we talked about this hill.
Spot to come look at the sheep.
I don't know about sheep.
They sell, there's a couple seed production nurseries that sell low-growing solar mixes for stuff like, that won't grow up too tall, and native wildflowers that stay short, under 2 feet or something.
Is the system that we have here, is there hundreds or thousands of them, or is it like just a unique, really unique one?
In the area,
No, the one that we have in this building.
are there others around?
Yeah.
So I went to look at two before we put this in. One was at Bucks County Community College, and then one was at,
Okay.
I want to say Tredyffrin, it wasn't Tredyffrin Township, Talmenson Township. Talmenson Township was a disaster for the guy. They kind of like tried to retrofit what they had. Bucks County Community College was a real nice system. So I'm sure there's a few others, but they were the two.
Westchester University is a great example if anybody wants to hear a success story.
Yeah, I mean, so the one thing that I learned from, like, you can't retrofit existing equipment with, you have to do a whole entire system, because they had pipes that weren't insulated, that were leaking through the ceiling, and it became a big problem they had to put hot water heaters to pump hot water back into the system in order to get the water hot enough to, for heating they had a lot of issues at Talmenson, and probably still do. I don't know.
I think that manager retired.
I'm sure the maintenance guy retired too, because he was pulling his hair out. But yeah, I mean, we had to work through the seasons, but I'm impressed on how it did during this hot, humid. We have one unit that has been acting up, and we haven't been able to figure out why yet. It's just not blowing real cold air. Like, most of the units are blowing 59-degree air. This one's like 64. So the engineers have been trying to adjust things on it, but other than that, I mean, still got a lot of summer to go, but it's been good.
It's been almost a full year, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we had a lot of, like, just tinkering to do with different set points and different, exhaust fan. The amount of the exhaust fan was open. The air dampers. There was a lot of tweaking. They were dehumidifying with the rooftop units. They switched to dehumidifying with the chiller. That helped out a lot. So,
I'd say you've been through all the seasons, pretty. Yeah.
I mean, yes.
All right.
Motion
Motion to.
to adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you.
See you guys.